Good evening, and thank you for being here. We are gathered at the Accokeek Fire Station because MD210 is not an abstract traffic issue. It is part of daily life for this community. People drive it to work, to school, to church, to shop, to visit family, and to get home. Tonight's briefing has four purposes. We will review the recent history of the MD210 traffic safety effort, describe the current situation, explain our plans for the 2027 Maryland General Assembly, and identify what each of us can do to help. Our goal is simple: fewer crashes, fewer injuries, and fewer deaths on MD210. This briefing is organized around four questions. First, where have we been? MD210 safety advocacy did not begin this year. It reflects years of community concern, fatal crashes, serious injuries, and repeated requests for stronger action. Second, where are we now? We now have better data from the speed cameras, but the data show that MD210 still has a serious speeding and repeat offender problem. Third, what comes next? For us, that means a coordinated legislative package for the 2027 General Assembly. Fourth, how can people help? This cannot be done by one committee or one elected official. It requires sustained community support. One event will not fix MD210, but one event can help organize the next phase of action. The MD210 traffic safety effort has been a long-running community campaign. In 2017, the committee began regular advocacy after years of deaths, injuries, and public concern. That same year, Delegate Valderrama agreed to sponsor a bill for speed cameras on MD210. That was a major step because it gave the community a practical legislative path. In 2024, 6 advanced speed cameras began documenting the scale of the speeding problem. These cameras confirmed what residents already knew from experience. The corridor has a serious speeding problem, including extreme speeds. In 2025, tiered fines were enacted for MD210. That means the higher the speed, the higher the fine. In 2026, point-to-point enforcement was placed on the legislative agenda. For 2027, the plan is to return with a coordinated package: point-to-point enforcement and repeat offender accountability. The current speed cameras have helped, but they have also shown the limits of fixed camera enforcement. The cameras document violations and help reduce risky behavior near camera locations. But the problem continues. MD210 still generates hundreds of speed camera citations per day. The data also show that some drivers are repeat offenders. These are not just people who accidentally drift a few miles per hour over the limit one time. Some drivers continue to violate the law again and again. We also know that unpaid citations weaken deterrence. If a driver can repeatedly ignore citations without meaningful consequences, then the system is not doing enough to change behavior. Finally, fixed cameras have a built-in limitation. Drivers can slow down near the camera and then speed back up between cameras. That is why fixed cameras are necessary, but they are not sufficient by themselves. The recent fatal crash at MD210 and Pine Drive reminds us why this work is urgent. That crash involved a northbound vehicle and a school bus turning from southbound MD210. The driver of the vehicle died. The bus driver was injured. Thankfully, no students were on the bus. We should allow the investigation to determine the specific facts of that crash. But the larger safety lesson is already clear. MD210 has heavy traffic, high speeds, major intersections, turning movements, school buses, pedestrians, commuters, and local residents all using the same corridor. Pine Drive is an example of why enforcement, engineering, and accountability have to work together. We need safer speeds, safer intersections, and stronger consequences for the drivers who repeatedly put others at risk. This slide explains the core idea behind point-to-point enforcement. A fixed speed camera measures a vehicle's speed at one location. Point-to-point enforcement measures the average speed over a road segment. That distinction matters on MD210 because we know some drivers slow down near a camera and then speed up again between cameras. Point-to-point enforcement directly addresses that behavior. It encourages drivers to maintain a legal speed across the entire segment, not just at one camera. This is also important because the current MD210 cameras already have point-to-point capability built in. We are not asking for an entirely new camera network. We are asking to enable an existing safety function with strict limits and protections. The point-to-point proposal should have clear guardrails. First, it should be limited to MD210. This is a documented high-risk corridor with a long history of crashes and community advocacy. Second, it should use existing cameras where practical. Third, there should be no double citation. A driver should not receive both a fixed camera citation and a point-to-point citation for the same vehicle movement on the same segment. Fourth, there should be public notice and clear signage. Drivers should know where the system is operating and how it works. Fifth, privacy protections should be built into the law. Non-violation data should not be kept beyond what is needed. Finally, there should be public reporting so residents, legislators, and agencies can see whether the program is reducing speeds, crashes, injuries, and fatalities. The purpose is not surprise enforcement. The purpose is safer speeds across the corridor. For the 2027 General Assembly, we should return with a coordinated package. The first bill would authorize point-to-point average speed enforcement on MD210 only. It should include signage, privacy protections, public reporting, and no double citation. The second bill would address repeat offenders and unpaid citations. The goal is meaningful accountability for drivers who repeatedly violate the law or repeatedly fail to pay citations. That does not mean ignoring fairness. There should be notice, payment options, and a clear process for coming into compliance. The third part is coordination with SB 111. That new statewide law deals with registration and compliance issues, including out-of-state vehicles. Our MD210 bills should work with that framework, not conflict with it. The overall message is enforcement, fairness, accountability, and results. There is important work that can happen before the 2027 session begins. Elected officials can commit early support for the point-to-point bill and the repeat offender accountability bill. They can also help make sure the agencies are coordinated before the bills are introduced. Public agencies also have important roles. SHA can continue reviewing high-risk locations and identifying engineering improvements, including intersections like Pine Drive. PGPD can provide enforcement experience, speed data, crash data, and practical recommendations. MVA can help with registration consequences, payment compliance, reinstatement, and coordination with statewide law. Prince George's County can support public education and community outreach. PGCPS can help with school bus safety and coordination where school transportation uses the corridor. The goal is to have a strong, technically sound package before the session starts. Everyone here can help. First, contact your legislators. Ask your senator and delegates to support the 2027 MD 210 safety package. Second, organize civic support. Homeowners associations, civic associations, churches, schools, and local organizations can send letters or resolutions of support. Third, tell the human story. Data is important, but legislators also need to understand what this road means to the people who live here. Fourth, submit testimony when the bills are heard. A short statement from a resident can be powerful. Fifth, report dangerous conditions, near misses, speeding patterns, and recurring problems. Sixth, share accurate information. Point-to-point enforcement is a targeted safety tool for a dangerous corridor. It is not a general surveillance program. Finally, we are asking churches along the MD210 corridor to use Sunday, September 13, 2026, to remind their congregations that driving safely protects sacred lives. This is the ask. Help make MD210 safer before the next family is devastated. Support point-to-point enforcement on MD210. Support repeat offender accountability. Support engineering fixes at high-risk locations. Help keep the community organized through the 2027 General Assembly session. We should be clear about what success looks like. The measure of success is not how many tickets are issued. The measure of success is fewer crashes, fewer injuries, and fewer deaths. That is why we are here, and that is the work we need to continue together.